Whoa, making a video. I had a lot of weird shit going on. I just got a crank call, I think, from someone pretending to be a lawyer anyway. About some woman who's getting a restraining order, or somebody's got a restraining order against her, and it's something to do with her being an ethicist. I mean, just having a lawyer, she says she's a lawyer, call me and say the word ethicist was pretty funny. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. Are crank callers really doing this? They're calling lawyers and getting them involved in cases that are fake and wasting people's time like this just to be a crank? I mean, fucking A. And it was some kind of name that was weird, too. And I was like, I'm supposed to somehow have something to say about this thing? And it was like, I don't know. It was just kind of weird. I mean, now that I think about it, the name of the person... yeah, well, what's sort of like, what's his name, his last name? I didn't think of that. But why would he be getting a restraining order against a chick? Because, I mean, how much trouble can a chick cause, right? I don't know. The whole thing is just really strange. So anyway, I guess it might, who knows if it's something, I don't know why the lawyer wasn't a little more informative. I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know this person by that name, so you got to give me a little more information here. But you didn't give me the information, so I just said, whatever, not my problem. Well, anyway, strange. Well, another strange thing. Piero did he's in one of his wacky videos, Karmas. He's telling me like he's some sort of cow whisperer now. He knows what cows want. He knows what corn wants. He's inside all of their heads. It's just fucking useless, but it's hilarious. He's got 160 views, it says. There's one dislike and no likes. I never saw that before. It's just kind of funny. I was just saying this must be some sort of bug or something in YouTube or something. I mean, how could you have one dislike and nothing else? But you could sort of say, I understand why nobody would like the video, just because it's the stupidest fucking goddamn video. Ugh, what a waste of time Piero has become. Floating around, sky flying, universe soaring. I'm surfing the interstellar winds of bibbly babbly boo. I mean, he's just fucking useless. So anyway, so in other weird news, YouTube won't upload my fucking videos. It just keeps doing this. Oh, it's processing finally, so it's 95%. Okay. Yeah, last video just sat there for 2 hours and it wouldn't process. And I'm saying, well, maybe it's got the word sucks in it. It is a Fred Sucks video. So I'm saying, well, maybe if I, didn't title it with the sucks in there, maybe that's what's slowing it down. And, I do say cunt a few times in the video, so maybe they're looking for videos that say cunt. I don't know, it just is irritating. I had to re-upload it, So this time, at least it is processing within an hour anyway. It took an hour for it to decide to start the process. But let's see if it finishes. But we won't see together. I'll see if it finishes later. And I'll tell you about it. Or not. Presume it processed if I don't say something about it, I guess. So anyway, I'm going to get back to the anti-BullshitMan comments on the other video. So that's what we're going to do now. Ludite returns comments. And, yeah, that's what we're going to do. It'll be fun, maybe. Maybe I'll make the text bigger, right? Maybe that'll help. Yeah, there's a lot of strange shit. The resolution on my monitor is weird. I rebooted the computer and it screwed up the original settings, and so now it can't get back to the other settings I had the resolution set at, and it won't do it without like being way off the screen. So it's really strange. So next time I reboot, I'll have to change the settings before it goes into Windows and see if that fixes it. It's just, it's weird. It's just weird everywhere. Anyway. Do I really have to explain all this in a vid? Oh, he already did that. Ludite. I found your criticisms erudite and penetrating. He has 2 comment criticisms that were basic. Well, I've already read them, so I'm not going to read them again. But yeah, they were obviously not very penetrating. Inmendham's responses here. The full-blown sophomoric stimulus response mode could have been a great opportunity for clarification and strengthening, but was clearly produced from his massive ego being offended that anyone would dare challenge what amounts to his frequent unsubstantiated metaphysics. Right, it's metaphysics to just say, hey, wait a minute, it's a dumb fucking molecule replicating. Maybe we ought to analyze this a little bit, because guess what? Molecules don't have brains, so maybe we ought to backseat drive a little bit. There's a molecule driving the car and we're in the back seat. Yeah, maybe we ought to backseat drive a little. Yeah. You know, that's metaphysics. Oh, it's metaphysics. Metaphysics alert. Yeah, we're judging DNA molecules. You're not allowed to do that. You can't pass judgment on a molecule. It's against the cosmic law somehow. Philosophers rule. Philosophers don't know what DNA molecules are. That's the problem. Anyway, they're not scientists. That's their big problem. You got to be a scientist first. You got to give a shit about the truth first before you can become a philosopher. That's sort of the game. If you're not going to be busy enough to figure out what evolution is and understand some of these concepts of physics and shit, if you're just going to make up shit and you're going to listen to some asshole about Schrodinger's cat or something, yeah, then you're not going to be a philosopher. You're going to be an asshole, a moron, and an idiot. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Luddite. That's right. That's who I'm talking to. You idiot. So what else do I need to say to that? It's just such... Oh, the ego thing. Yeah, it's not about ego. It's about sort of a guy I considered sort of a friend who I would expect not to... if I disagreed horribly with what he was doing, okay. I mean, we had a big fight about a couple of issues. I mean, his thing, like, let's have IQ tests for elections, which is dangerous. Or tests of knowledge of any kind. I said just not terribly practical, so I argued against its practicality. Not that I wouldn't vote for it myself, but, yeah, it's not very practical. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would vote for it myself. It's intrinsically unfair to deny somebody their right to vote just because they don't care to figure out, well, I guess it depends, like I said, what the questions are. I mean, if the questions are, is the earth round, and they get that wrong, then yeah, I don't think they should vote. But anyway, where were we? And then, we had the argument about the whole circumcision thing and his slanderous rhetoric and accusations that people are just mutilating their children's genitalia for the sake of it, for the fun of it. They're just mutilating it for the fun of it. Yeah, idiot. Anyway, or religious reasons, or some other kind of crap. And it goes deeper than that. Yeah, it's about more than that. Yeah, that's the truth of it. It's about more than that. Doctors aren't exactly religious nuts. Anyway. And so, yeah, okay, we can see we can have some argument. Well, I'm getting the long way around is I just don't think you need to be this rude in these comments. And if you really had some kind of real problem with this nihilist crap, and I'm not respecting his nihilism properly or something, or not bowing to it properly, well, maybe he could have said that in some kind of more considerate, polite way. At least I'd expect somebody I call a friend to be a little more polite about it. And I think it was obnoxious and rude. And this isn't about my ego. It's about who I call friend and who I'm allowed to be disappointed in. I frankly found his response disgustingly disappointing. I wouldn't show up on his video and type crap like this. And it was crap. So yeah, what do you want from me? I'm not allowed to be offended, Mr. Luddite? Well, fuck you. You egomaniacal crazy fuck. There, how you like it? You should see Grey Talk Cho's latest posting of Inmendham's clips, responses to a video of mine. Unadulterated garbage. Yeah, I mean, you just can't take it. You've lost the argument, decidedly, and you're just going to whine about it. Oh my God, you mean he accurately quoted in context Inmendham's commentary regarding your nonsense, and you're upset. Soon to be made clear in video. Yeah, well, whatever. It'll be another video I will dissect and demonstrate to be ludicrous returns. It'll be stupid and idiotic and unwell premised, and it'll just be a bunch of fucking accusations and insults and ad hominem attacks veiled in a bunch of multisyllabic, tortured poetic sententry. That's all it will be. Crap. Alright. BullshitMan, please quit using blanket nihilism as a pejorative. See, so he really is a nihilist, right? Why would you care whether nihilism was... Of course it's a pejorative. I mean, it's just... It's point me to the great nihilist of history. You know, who? What, Stalin and Hitler? Who are these great nihilists? Whatever. Anyway, really, I mean, come on. Who? Anyway. Unless the nihilist in question actually outlines to you the values he or she personally holds. Well, I guess if they have to outline it, then they're not. Then their category of nihilism wouldn't mean anything. What is a nihilist then? Oh, somebody holds various and divergent opinions. Well, I guess we don't need that category of nihilist, because then what does nihilism mean? People who like philosophers with a beard? Right? Nietzsche had a beard, right? People who like philosophers who were found to be totally insane and thrown in the crazy house? Is that what nihilism means? What does nihilism mean if it doesn't have an association to a category of values? They're already defined. And the value is, there is no God, therefore, hey, it's free lunch. Okay, steal what you want. Because nobody can punish you. There's no heaven, no hell, no punishment. Therefore, it doesn't matter whether you commit a crime or not, because fucking nobody's going to try you. Nobody can hang you. There's only getting caught or not getting caught, and that's all there is. So fuck them all. Eat all you want. Rape all you want. Pillage all you want, because it doesn't fucking matter, because there's no God to say that's wrong. I mean, that's a 5-year-old could figure out that that's a silly philosophy. That's sillier than Santa Claus philosophy. That's sillier than Easter rabbit philosophy. Oh, if you don't get caught, it's okay. I mean, if no one's watching, it's okay. I mean, a 5-year-old wouldn't fall for that. I mean, when I was 5 years old, if somebody told me in secret, you know, if they don't catch you, it's okay to steal, I would have known. No, stealing's the same thing whether I get caught or not. I mean, I know that much. I know the theft is the same. It's the same if I go run up to somebody and punch them in the head and then run away. I know their punch in the head is going to be exactly the same whether I get caught or I don't get caught. Fuck. Stupid shits. Alright, anyway. If you find those values to be at odds with your own, then by all means condemn the person. Okay, I condemn you. There. How's that? What, I have to go down the whole list of values? Again, these nihilists who say it doesn't matter except for when I articulate an explanation of the things I think that do matter. And again, why should I give a fuck if it's just your personal subject opinion that the Red Sox are better than the Cubs Sox? Well, I guess they're not the Cubs, they're the Cubs. But anyway, why should I give a fuck about your fucking personal fucking opinion based on whether or not it makes your dick hard or not? Why should I fucking care what makes your dick hard? I really don't want to know, and I don't give a fuck. Alright, now if you want to talk to me about what reality is, well then fine, let's have a conversation. But being a nihilist, you've taken that off the subject list. So call yourself something else, because nihilism and relevant subject matter, those two things don't go together. Nihilist and pointless subjective opinion go together. And I really don't give a fuck about your personal subjective opinion, unless you have a fact-based opinion. And then it's not a personally subjective opinion. You get it? No, you probably don't get it. But if all you know about them is that they are nihilists, this doesn't actually tell you anything about what they personally value. Well, like I said, apparently they value philosophers who sold 40 copies of their book and were in the nut house and died insane. Something like that. Their views on AN could be in lockstep with your own. Well, quite obviously they can't be in lockstep with my own if they believe that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily knock your arms and legs off. Yeah, I'm a lot stronger if I have a fucking seizure and it wipes out half my brain and I spend the rest of my life drooling. Oh yeah, I'm going to be kick-ass strong at being the king of the droolers. I don't think I'm going to win any Olympic medals. Whatever. Fuck you. Their views on AN, okay. The only form of nihilism worthy of ridicule is ecopistological nihilism. Well, whatever. I really don't give a fuck. If you're going to call yourself an asshole, I don't care whether you're a colossal asshole or a substantial asshole or a magnificent asshole. In my opinion, you're all fucking assholes, so fuck you. Alright, tranquil. None of this matters to him. Well, that is the goddamn motherfucking cunt truth. That's right. I don't give a fuck about all your dead philosophies and your dead titles. When I say I'm an anti-natalist, or if I'm an ethicist, I give you a description of exactly what the fuck I am. I'm not hiding behind some fucking philosopher who wrote all kinds of wacky crap about all kinds of wacky crap. If you don't believe in his objective morality, you mean in his hypothesis regarding the value of the sentient organism's experience, you are automatically the scum of the earth. Well, that's right. I don't sup with rapists or murderers or bigots, or I can put lots of things on a list that I don't hang out with. Okay? You tell me that you're a rat raper, then yeah, I'm going to say fuck you. I mean, you can't do better than this? You're going to just sit there and tell me you're a rat raper? Well, fuck you. Go rape your own fucking kind. He is willing to ignore every aspect of your life just because of it. Willing to ignore every aspect. Well, I don't think that's true at all. But I'm just saying that, I mean, it really doesn't matter if Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian and he loved his dogs and was kind to Tweety birds. I mean, it really just doesn't, it's not good enough. You got to do better than just being somebody who talks to canaries and, says nice things to the canaries to make them feel good. That's really not going to make up with, murdering 6 million people and causing indirectly, wars and deaths of 50 million people. I mean, it ain't going to make up for it at all. Just listen to his slanders towards me at the beginning of this video. Slanders of what? What was well, I did say you're a bum and a retard. I guess these aren't proven facts yet, but I would like to give you a few tests and see if you could run the maze, because I really don't think you can handle it. But whatever. If that's a slander to say, I don't think you can handle it. I think you suck. I think you are dumb. I think you are retarded. I think you are some kind of crazy, autistic, compulsive guy who can't think unless somebody else wrote it in a book. He actually knows that I love to take care of cats. Well, whether you love to take care of cats is irrelevant. The fact that you do take care of them is relevant. But again, that take care of is another tricky word, right? Because I might argue if 5 kittens show up at my house, I might say that maybe these are too many cats for living on my balcony. Maybe I'm going to have to do something about this. I'm going to have to find them a home, or I'm going to have them put down or something, because this isn't going to work. I work with the Montreal SPC. Oh, I didn't know you lived in Montreal. I thought you lived in, France or something. Voluntarily for a TNR program. That's AN in action. A TNR program. I don't know. Tear nuts right off. I don't know what that means. But, these are all complex questions. But again, I'm not going to, it's like saving the whales. You know what I mean? People they're good-hearted. They want to save the whales, but it's totally evil to save the whales in a world where they're going to be farmed. Right? It's no good to have animals farmed in the wild, because then they don't have any rights at all. I mean, your country, Canada, is slaughtering hundreds of thousands of seals every year that have no rights whatsoever. They're just farmed out of nature, like they're nothing. They have no rights at all. Anyway, but he paints me as the worst scum in the world because I disagree with his views on value. No, I paint you as the worst scum because you go all around the internet slandering me, you motherfucking cunt. You're a little lying motherfucking slandering weasel, and I hate your motherfucking scummy guts. Because you have this expectation that I'm going to go all over the whole fucking internet and undo the fucking slandering shit you spew on every goddamn video out there. That's why I hate your guts. I also think you suck as a philosopher because all you got is cliches, shithead. quotes, 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 just a bunch of fucking cliches. Limited context, limited depth of thought, just a bunch of poetry and bullshit as a philosophy. Yeah, I say it has no depth, no character, no integrity. It's fireside bibble-babble. There is, in itself, perhaps, a latent cruelty in inmendham's selective nihilism. So again, this is a nihilist calling me a nihilist. I mean, can you get any more imbecilic? No, I don't believe you can. His ethical construct. I mean, how should anybody tolerate this, right? I mean, what the fuck? Do I really have to do this? To put up with this lying crap? I mean, I've made more anti-nihilist videos than anybody on the internet. I declare it. I say it right now. I'll say it. I have probably said, I'm not a fucking nihilist. I hate nihilists more than anybody else on fucking YouTube. And yet this fucking cunt will think he has an honorable right to sit there and say, inmendham selective nihilism. I mean, just fucking amazing. His ethical construction only proceeds in terms of bad, good, aversiveness, desirability. But these are your terminologies, right? So this is your paraphrase. So whatever, let's accept your good, bad words. I don't hate that language, but again, I have tried to refine the language to saying bad and badder. You know, because that's probably closer to the truth. There is no good. There's just bad and less bad and more bad. But there is no good. While remaining axiologically nihilistic relative to these things. I don't know how I'm doing that. How am I doing anything nihilistic towards these things? I mean, how do you back up that sentence? It's just a pile of shit. How is anything I do anywhere close to being nihilistic? As anti-BullshitMan highlights, experienced as valuable. As anti-BullshitMan highlights, experienced as valuable. Honesty, integrity, truth, meaning. So here, you're talking about things that have their own integrity. Integrity has honesty, integrity. Honesty is the same as truth, right? I mean, honesty is what gets you to the truth. So right there, these two words are the same thing. And of course, there's everything in my philosophy that says honesty is the only policy. There's no other alternative. So where have I degraded the value of honesty? Anywhere have I degraded the value of honesty? Anywhere. Where? Where have I devalued honesty? Liar. You cunt. Meaning, I'm always using the word meaning. Autonomy is this word again doesn't mean much, right? I mean, autonomy. How in a deterministic world? How the fuck could I possibly accept a notion like autonomy? And why would I why don't you put the word selfishness next to it? You know, just to be honest. Why don't you be honest and say put selfishness right next to the word autonomy? Autonomous selfishness. Why should I have any respect for selfishness? That's what most autonomy means. It means the person is saying, I want the right to be a selfish fuck. I want the right to take more than I give. I don't want any rule that says I have to be fair. I want to be a selfish fuck. That kind of autonomy doesn't have any respectability intrinsically. So fuck that. Well, of course I don't value that. I think that's crap. These things being blithely passed off as manifestations of addiction or ego gratification. Well, I mean, obviously, that's not what I wouldn't say that honesty and integrity or truth has anything to do with either one of these things. Most people are dishonest. Most people have no integrity. Most people are lying scum. So these ego gratification and addiction are likely to compromise both of these things. Ego and addiction is, oh yeah, that's all about that selfishness shit. I'll do what I fucking want. I don't want to hear you tell me I suck. That's all. They don't even want to hear the word, you suck. I can't even call it shit behavior. without a, oh, you have no right to call my shitty behavior. That's the logic you're defending here. You're offended because somebody points out you suck. And you do it with this icon, which I don't even understand. Yeah, I don't understand. All right, Tranquil. Excellent point. You forgot beauty. Yes, beauty. You put beauty on the list, and oh my God, how dare he mock this idea of beauty as subjective crap. So here you assholes will sit there and tell me that chemotherapy being bad, an unpleasant experience, the simple declaration that if you could avoid having it and everything else will remain the same, that's some kind of subjective nonsense, and yet you're going to defend beauty? Some notion of beauty? Please. Yeah, that's right. Beauty has to do, it's the most beautiful thing on earth, okay? Well, I mean, yeah, the 9 out of the top 100 are on a woman's body, retard, which he passes off as being a mere projection of value without any value whatsoever. Well, that's what it is. Anything somebody's going to call beauty is a projection of value unless they're going to talk about how some beautiful functionality or beautiful efficiency. So if you're going to talk about how beautifully the engine runs with just such a perfect efficiency and just talk how beautiful that efficiency is, well, that's a different use of the word beautiful, right? But we know that most definitions of beauty have to do with some sort of aesthetic crap, some sort of cosmetic, superficial bullshit. But beauty, aesthetic contemplation, as Schopenhauer explained, allows us to get away from will, pain, and into representation response. Yeah, well, look, Schopenhauer says a lot of wacky things. You want me to quote Schopenhauer on women? I mean, just to make anything else you might say sound stupid? But yeah, the fact that we can be distracted by things is fine. But let's understand, Schopenhauer never worked a day in his motherfucking cunt life. Okay, he was an elitist little weasel prick who cared more about his clothes than he cared about the poor. He only used the poor as an example of, something else's object dysfunction, and didn't take any responsibility for any of it himself. Which is exactly what inmendham should admit is valuable if he is being philosophically consistent. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know why I would think idiotic escapism is valuable. Why would I think that? Why would I think the appropriate response to living in a broken world is to run the fuck away from the obligation to fix it? Why would I think that has... Why would it be me being philosophically consistent to say the appropriate thing to do is run away from brokenness, when I have articulated it in probably 100 videos? I've said the word. The only thing we can do here is be janitors. Being a good janitor is being a great human being. That's it. But you don't want the job because you're a little weasel, selfish prick. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, this guy says he has never changed his positions, ? I don't agree with Gary, but I do think he tries to be ideologically consistent. Well, I don't even try to be. It just happens to happen that way. Is that my philosophy is rationally put together, so it's obviously consistent. Fuck. Okay. Now to get into this Zafra guy. That's not how you pronounce his name, but well, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Damn, that pisses me off now. Well, anyway, I don't want to get into that shit. I am forgetting what exactly. You're not on topic at all. Where did... I can't remember how to pronounce that name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Who wants to get into all that shit? So, avoid this. So, just getting into all this Schopenhauer escapism crap and the other guy who defended escapisms. So here we are, back to the anti-bullshit man. Boy, look at all this crap. I didn't even read all this crap. Also, why were you inclined to change the hypothetical subject, a fully educated adult, to a mere mouse? Because I wanted to see how you make the distinction. I don't care about this fully educated crap. Doesn't mean, I said it pretty clearly, it doesn't mean anything to me when I think the real value of our existence is what we feel, not what we think. So why would I give a fuck about this fully educated shit? My guess is because perhaps subconsciously you do recognize there's an element of a gray area with regards to you either viewing of a non-consenting adult as nothing but fodder for some ultimate down-the-road net Borg maximization. No, I said right. Why would it be an exchange? I said quite overtly, I don't give a fuck about the social contract when I'm talking philosophical truth. So if we're talking about what I would do if I didn't have any obligations to respect anything besides my own reasoning capacity, then that's what I'm going to do. Then yeah, I'm going to act. All right, but I'm saying there is no imposition. You can't impose right on somebody. You can only impose wrong on them. All right, so that's just the truth of it. All right, the whole idea is that it's being wrong and imposing that is the crime. You can't impose something good. So if you actually do something good for somebody by imposing it on them, and it turns out for the best, the imposition was perfectly appropriate. Dropping the net principle will actually make an AN. I wish you would have dealt with the mouse analogy, because that's the question, right? All of a sudden, this whole argument disappears, and you are able to be rational. So if we could just reduce the human race to some other alien on another planet, if there was Martians on another planet you were talking about instead of jackass humans, you would be so much better at analyzing their circumstance and declaring them failures. I mean, it's like looking at somebody else's dysfunctional relationship. You know, it's always difficult when you're in your own relationship to recognize, oh, this is dysfunctional, we should just kill it. But you can always see it in somebody else's, and you can just say, man, it's so obvious. They ought to just shoot each other, or they ought to just get the fuck away from each other, but they shouldn't be living together. All right, dropping the net principle will actually make your AN-driven anti-imposition arguments consistent. Well, I'm sorry, they're already consistent. You're just a weasel and a fucknut, okay? There's no inconsistency. It's just your problem using the word imposition properly and understanding the context that imposition, it's like the word gift. A gift is something you give somebody that doesn't blow up. So if I give somebody something and it kills them or poisons them or does something negative to them, then it wasn't really a gift. It was a fucking disaster. There's probably another word for that, but it was a mess. Okay? It wasn't a good thing. So gifts intrinsically have to be functional to the person you're giving them to. If you give somebody a blight, okay, then it wasn't a gift. It was a blight. Duh. All right. Me choosing circumstantial justice over an all-encompassing net ontology doesn't lead to a rejection of any fact. A circumstantial justice. Well, whatever. Yeah, I don't care. Like I said, you want to talk about justice is a tricky word, but if you want to talk about some sort of social contract, justice system or some sort of human interaction optimization system or something, well, yeah, then you get into this whole crime and punishment argument and all that kind of shit, and it doesn't have anything to do with absolute fact anymore. It might actually be, in principle, a good idea to have a death penalty for jaywalking, because you probably will have really very few jaywalkers. So, do you believe killing the educated adult on the island is technically the right thing to do, yet you feel the need... Well, look, I fundamentally have just explained that I think life can't be played, that you can only make a mess. You can't ever unmess. So, yeah, if I thought there was some net position that the human existence could be in that was technically maintainable or sustainable, then I'd say, sure, go ahead, live forever. But we know that's not how it works. Okay, now if you put that brain in a beaker, in an iPod, that can last forever, and that it will constantly just be in a safe condition, well, I could say, okay, fine. It's a net nothing, in the sense that you created something that can't possibly be harmed. But again, we'd probably have to have a conversation about exactly how you do that without putting in its brain an understanding of harm, a memory of harm, a notion of harm. Again, he has to need to feed. The hunger has to be created. So you're going to have to explain how you create the hunger without creating any negative consequence of that existence. But again, my fundamental argument is I don't think life is a playable game. It's all out of the dungeon. It is dungeons and dungeons, and dungeons and dungeons and dungeons and dungeons and dungeons. It's all dungeons. There is no non-dungeon. So you believe killing the enemy is a technically right thing to do, yet you feel the need to point out that you would still cut his psychology some slack and let him live. No, I would cut my psychology some slack, your psychology some slack, all you other complainers some slack. I would still argue it's the right thing to do to not play the game. But I would concede that your assholes are going to complain. You're going to whine and bitch. Okay, and call me Adolf Hitler because I think you're stupid fucks. And so I'll say, go ahead if you want to torture yourself, okay? If the fucking imbecile in the mental institution with the fucking hammer bashing his own brain in can articulately say, I know perfectly well what I'm doing, and I don't think you, Mr. Inmendham, should stop me at all, and I can pass an IQ test, and I can add 4 numbers together, and so I'm competent, and you don't have a right to stop me. Well, then what the fuck am I going to do? Okay, go ahead, bash your brains in, asshole. I mean, if you want to believe in a God, you stupid weaselly cunt, am I supposed to stop you from doing it? I'm just going to say you're doing something incredibly stupid. If it were my kid, yeah, I would probably lock you in your room and, maybe I would beat you to death in the middle of the night. Well, anyway, that's a whole nother point. Why? Why deviate from net obligations? Oh, yeah, why deviate? I always pointed it out, why? Because it's really hard for us, for the gorillas, for the monkeys with these emotions, to get into these conflicts with people and have to fight for things like this. To fight to do the right thing. To have to actually fight with somebody, have a war with somebody to put a cat to sleep. That's really fucking unpleasant to have to do. What, I have to go out and kill people so I can humanely put somebody to sleep? And you can't get how that's a little bit psychologically burdensome, asshole? That might wear on you a little bit, that you might find it fucking tedious to even have these conversations with fucking assholes like you, that it might be trying on one's psychology. You're so owned by your psychology, you little pussy, you can't even make goddamn videos anymore. You're so fucking goddamn protective of your psychology. You're so running away from the argument. You're hiding on your blog because you can't stand having to deal with these stupid fucks on the internet. So just admit that your psychology is owning you, you stupid shit. God, you suck. Yeah. Let's see. Why deviate from net obligations when you know full well, as promised, the guy's zero-sum subpar living will only drag the collectivized scale further into the minus section? Well, I thought he was the only individual living on some dopey island, but whatever. I don't know how... The collectivized. You're going to keep using this collectivized word. Why? Is that some sort of holdover from your Russian ancestry that you want to, use the scary collectivized word? Ooh, he's talking collectivization. Ooh, he's talking about adding up. Ooh, don't dare do any addition math. Yeah, whatever. Prime example. Well, you didn't even, like I said, you didn't even deal with my example, so I'm just going to have to keep doing yours. Imprisoning an innocent man over a guilty man. As the 8-ball shows, the former is a stoic who will suffer far less in prison compared to the latter. Imprisoning an innocent man over a guilty. An innocent man will suffer less, and that the guilty man will commit no more crimes from here on out, eliminating the need for his deterrence, and thus bringing about a more efficient net outcome. Even if I'm guaranteed all this, I am still gladly spit on your notions of net obligationism and sentence the guilty criminal scum. So he's just making another analogy. Like, let's say if I could kill a 5-year-old kid, I could bash it with a hammer and kill it. Just smash, 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 kill the little 5-year-old. It'd be a horrible, messy, ugly thing to do. But the fact is 10 other 5-year-old kids now don't get cancer. And they live to be 70-year-olds, happy and healthy and all that stuff. And they die instantaneously on their 70th birthday. Instantaneously. So they are completely relieved from having cancerous, slow 5-year cancerous death. The fact is that yeah, there is a certain, the logic is there. Again, the fact that our personal sensibilities say this, I'm imposing on the one 5-year-old. Well, the truth is nature imposed on those other 5. Those other 5 are just as fucking raped. Okay, those other 5, it just doesn't matter whether I rape or I let somebody else rape. You can't see how that's a difference? So if I personally rape a woman and that prevents 10 other women from getting raped, you can't see that logic is just undefeatable? You can't understand how not stopping the imposition because somebody else is doing it doesn't have anything to do with reality? That the imposition is the same. Whether I do it or something else does it, it's still an imposition. It doesn't matter who on the battlefield shoots the gun with the bullet coming out. What matters is that the heads the bullet hits. You can't understand that? Fuck. And he calls that spit. He'll spit on that notion. That notion that I should consider my impositions no more special or worse than anyone else's imposition or anything else's imposition. I said tunnel vision in relation to your net doctrine, not because I fear you overlooked trivialities like Red Sox fans or fascinations with 600-pound asses, but because I can list countless examples, well great, let's see one of them, where a decline in net harm comes at the cost of trespassing on matters of justice, character, truth, individualism, etc. Well, again, I think there is only one thing that trespass is trespass. And if you trespass to prevent trespass, that's good. If you impose to prevent imposition, that's good. If I beat the shit out of a child molester and stop him, if I cut his dick off and he can't commit the crime in the future, and I protected 10 kids from getting child molested, damn, it was worthy imposition. And it's just the fact of the matter. That's just the truth of it. You want to deny the truth? Fine, go ahead and deny it. But I'm not gonna sit there and say I find it comforting, that I would find it comforting to act, but I'm not going to deny the truth and say that it's not the right thing to do. That would be stupid to say it's not the right thing to do when every fact points to the fact that, yes, one imposition is better than 10 impositions, that one person hanging on a cross bleeding to death is better than 10 people hanging on a cross bleeding to death. I'm going to deny that obvious logic to placate personal sensibilities, and you think that's being a rational human being? If that's your version of nihilism, then I say your version of nihilism is fucking dumb. You always do this when pressed on the legitimacy irreconcilable aspects of ethics. Well, again, I haven't run away from it at all. I haven't done any evasion. This is just, go ahead, press all you want. You're not pressing me at all. I don't find this at all challenging beyond the fact that you are sitting there requiring something, I don't know what kind of blood you want from me, okay? Beyond saying that this is a horrible dilemma facing humanity, that being Mr. Spock is hard work for emotional human beings. That's why I guess the Vulcans had eradicated from them through a whole process. That's why they had their emotions ripped from them. It's because it's really hard to be an emotional, caring animal and be obligated to do the right thing. It's not easy. But fuck, I respect it when it shows up, though. you know, kamikaze. I mean, I probably made more videos about how great kamikazes were. I mean, that's just a great example of, man, that is a guy, you know, who's you know, when the rubber hits the road, man, he's showing up. You know, he showed up for work. He's doing his job. You just trivialize any focus on non-ouchy elements and paint them out to be mushy crap. Well, they are mushy crap. They're in our way. They're not... I mean, Vulcan is right. You want to pretend that Kirkian chaos hysterics is correct? It's not. Vulcan is correct. You know, Spock wins. Kirk was a douche. You're reciting arguments, declarations we've heard you recite thousands of times. Well, then I guess I don't know why you think there's any contradiction or any of this other crap, because it must be pretty clear to you. Do you genuinely think any of it refutes what I wrote? Yeah, I think I beat the shit out of what you wrote. I think what you wrote was absolute tripe. Okay, these silly... You know, again, I made the point out of your Einstein example, your crystal ball example. These are not complex or difficult questions. Again, I state to you quite emphatically that even if Einstein said, I'd rather not have existed, if you told Einstein your existence will prevent 1 million people from going through some horrible experience, he'd say, okay, shove me in, you know, use me. He'd do it. Because he was more honorable and honest than you are, you little weasel. Do you generally think any of it... If you took a closer look at established text on value, well, whatever that means, the established text. Oh, what is that? Your Nietzschean psychotic lunatic text, huh? Oh, whatever doesn't whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, even if it cuts your feet off and makes you blind and deaf, yeah, you're still going to be really kick-ass. No, I don't think so. Instead of just glancing at them on a wiki page, well, I don't even do that much, to tell you the fucking goddamn truth. Who are your icons, bullshit man? Go ahead. Let's have a little list. Let's have your little reading list. And let's see the bulk of their work and the character of their fundamental understanding of reality. And let's see exactly how they lived their philosophy. Since you're going to judge me and point out my cat story, let's see what their relationships to their wives and their mothers and all of that stuff was, and see what little weaselly cunts they were, living off their inheritance. Yeah. Fuck you. You see, you know, man, really, you're going to get into my personal face, and, you know, and every one of these fucking well-known philosophers was just an elitist little fucking silver-spooned prick. Anyway, if you look closer at the established text, blah, 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 you'd see that nothing on there even remotely suggests that value can appropriately be summed up as a commodity. Well, gee, that's the rule then. Okay, none of the philosophers ever talked about evolution before, whatever, 1353. Therefore, evolution can't possibly be true. Is that the argument? So if I was sitting there back in 1342, you could just say, nobody's ever philosophically talked about it, so I guess it can't be possible. So don't ever bring up the subject of evolution in the future. Don't show me any of that fucking facts or anything, because I know it can't possibly exist because no one else wrote about it. So I don't need to worry about this. I really don't. You know, I mean, all I've done is take something every fucking kid knows, and I've just cleaned it of the swampy bullshit you assholes pile on top of the simple truth. The simple truth is that we know there's a value exchange that takes place. Okay? Every time there's a cake to be eaten and divided, there's an equation to the fairness and to the how it's most productively used. This is just, everybody knows these. These scenarios come up in a ton of cinema. So don't tell me there's no commodity value shit that goes on, because it's in thousands of movies. Go look up the word lifeboat, okay? Go look up any lifeboat movie, and you'll see these questions put right in people's real life faces. You know, who lives and who dies. So don't tell me there isn't a commodity here, that there isn't a value here, that there isn't a value exchange here, that something's welfare isn't... I mean, Island of Dr. Moreau. What's the question? Yes, the beauty of becoming human and aware versus the horror of being transitioned from animal to man, and the pain and the suffering and the anguish that entails. I mean, these are value commodity questions. So don't tell me no one else talks about it being a commodity. It's a commodity. Okay, my comfort at somebody else's welfare. It's Marxism, for Christ's sakes. Marx talked about it almost as if it was a commodity. The commodity of sacrifice. Your life is sacrificed to do work so you can acquire the change to be able to buy yourself some leisure. Fucker. That's your baggage. Well, fuck you. I appreciate that it comes from a place of empathy. It doesn't come from empathy. Is another bullshit word. It comes from a place of rational recognition of the truth. No empathy necessary. None whatsoever necessary. I don't have to like Hitler. I don't have to love Hitler to say when at the end of the war to everybody, no point in torturing Hitler. All right? There's just no point. You put him in prison, but you don't torture him. There's no fucking point. You can't undo what he did. All you can do is make another person miserable. So there's no need for empathy there. But let's not molest language with it. Well, I say using the word like empathy is a molestation of a language. I say not recognizing that the value of our welfare is constantly what we are exchanging, and that we have taken pain and suffering is a commodity. That's what we are trading every fucking day in the world. That is the exchange that is traded when you eat meat. Okay, is that you're stealing the commodity. The commodity is the welfare of the organism you're taking. Okay? I mean, this isn't that difficult. Fuck you. Broken fucking mech. Turd for brain, shit for fucking values, ass cunt fucking bastard. Alright, 345. It is irrelevant that the man isn't causing any harm. Well, again, you say it's irrelevant. I think it's essential to you not being a completely disposable motherfucker. If you're a drunk driver and I shoot you, okay, I can justify what I did because you're threatening, just even threatening to cause harm. In my opinion. That's a personal opinion. I would say that anybody who shoots a drunk driver, okay, that's okay. Because they really should. They really shouldn't be doing what they're doing. It's just the truth. So fuck them. Okay? They should get reckless drinkers on the road should get killed by reckless gun owners. It would be kind of a perfect justice if they killed each other. I would let drunks run over gun owners, and I let gun owners shoot drunks. Yeah, it'd be a good exchange. Excellent. Solves two birds with one car. Or something like that. By your reasoning, this existence causes harm even if only to himself. Well, again, why should I assume his judgment is better than my judgment? Shouldn't I have evidence of that first? So until I have recognition, if you're going to tell me that the established fact is he's smarter than me, he knows the truth better than me, he has a more accurate understanding of reality than I do, well, then you might have an argument. But if he's just another human being and he has to account for himself, then, yeah, I want to hear how he knows what he's doing. Let me hear his argument. If he says I'm going to live because God says I should, well, I'm going to consider him a retard. He's going to say, I want to live because I want to live. Well, then I'm just going to try to explain to him, well, that's a psychological answer. That's just saying I'm addicted. And you can sort of understand that addiction is no reason to do something, right? He's going to say the word right here. His addiction to life forces him to continue to harm himself, and so you would still have an ethical imperative to end his suffering by ending his existence. Fine, yeah, okay. I'm perfectly satisfied with that as being correct. I would have an ethical imperative. But again, we are back to this argument that I have to live in a world where people will throw rocks at me if I do what I have an ethical imperative to do. But I've already pointed out to you that quite obviously if I had a red button and could do it all instantaneously, and I'm quite confident that would be perfectly ethical, then yeah, I'm going to hit the button. So it's all a confidence issue too here. It's a lot easier to be confident when you have a guarantee, okay, that there can't possibly be a negative implication. Alright, Luddite, fuck this shit at the beginning. Anyone with a shred of ounce or a millimeter of philosophical integrity would understand, in terms of both knowledge and appreciation, Tranquil is miles, light years beyond 99.99% of anyone on YouTube. So he's just saying how much he loves to think about putting his dick in Tranquil's ass. Ooh, I love Tranquil's firm young ass and his big long beard. I want to suck on his big long beard. It's something like that. Some kind of queer homo-y thing, you know. None of my business. Whatever you guys are into, I don't care. But yeah, that's just wacky. Yeah, why don't you make a video about how Prince Kaiser is next? Oh man, I could use some really good laughing. Ah, das Spook, my old friend and such. If someone is exploring ideas, whether they be wanting to do so or whether they feel the need to lay out the territory which risk reveals, they are not doing so of rationale nor desire, but out of seeing an ideal aside of human populations movement. It's like wanting to know when to use a semicolon. It's not so much desire as the mind's obligation via ideals to understand what the human population is saying and where and when it's not saying it. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Me no speaky, whatever, das easy. So, no comprendo. The universe rolled snake eyes twice and evolved thus some objective morality. Well, whatever that is. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? I'll see if I can find somebody else I hate. Oh, Tranquil. It sounds like your understanding of value is not only thing you've kept from when you were 6 years old. Sounds like your understanding of value is not the only thing you've kept from when you were 6 years old. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't have any souvenirs from when I was 6 years old. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, no sale. Maybe when I'm made stronger by getting brain cancer, I'll understand what you said, but right now I can't possibly understand because I don't have brain cancer yet. So I'm not strong enough to understand because I don't have brain cancer. And brain cancer didn't make me strong enough. Nietzsche way of thinking. Without any objective standards, value are merely preferences. Values only exist when people exist. Well, isn't that cute? We're not talking about values, asshole. We're talking about value. So the life of a chicken has value when humans exist, but it doesn't have value when they don't exist. Okay, you're stupid. Yep, and retarded, and foolish, and funny as fuck looking. Yeah. Fucking A. Alright, where else do we go here? Blah 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 blah. Oh, okay, so just blah blah. Alright, I think we've done our job. Another video down. It's all, every video it's got comments now, so I guess I'll keep doing this comment thing forever and ever until I'm dead. Or until I'm dead. That would probably be the better way to say it. Yeah. Soon enough, I think. I can feel it coming on. I can feel it catching up to me. I can feel it grabbing the bottoms to my drawers and such. I can feel it scraping, clawing my ass. Yeah, this Fred video was pretty funny. So I got a little angry at Fred. Those are all kind of angry faces. Anyway, till next time and such. Maybe I'll make the angry face the icon. It's the angry. Fred sucks. Has a skanky cunt. Such.